Some houses are never truly empty. Their walls still breathe, whispering the lives once trapped inside. Behind the windows, strange eyes still watch, waiting for someone to notice them. The wooden doors creak, as if they've been waiting for someone for decades. They say, once you step inside these walls, you never return the same because even time itself is trapped here. In the darkness of the night stood an old house, which was said to have never been empty. The door was rusty, but as soon as I pushed it, it creaked open by itself. As soon as I entered, the smell of dampness and rot spread, and the pictures hanging on the walls seemed to be looking at me with living eyes. An old doll lay on the floor, half its face burned, its eyes missing, as if it wanted to say something too. The room was empty, but the rocking chair was rocking on its own. The wooden stairs creaked with every step, and as I reached the top, the pictures hanging on the walls seemed to be moving eyes. At first glance, the mirror showed a reflection of Sehesh, but behind it was the shadow of a woman wearing a faded white dress. Sehesh screamed and shone the light on the mirror, but the reflection disappeared. Her heart was pounding, and fear gripped her body. A child was sitting in the corner of the room, dark circles around her eyes, dirty clothes, and crying, "Where is my mother?" As soon as she stretched out her hand, the child dissolved into thin air. The room was empty again and eerie silence reigned. Suddenly, the whole house started shaking, screams were coming from the walls. Sehesh ran towards the stairs. When she reached the bottom, she saw the main door had disappeared, only a wall was in front. Pull out the mobile, but no signal, as if the house had cut her off from the world. Suddenly a black hand came out from the corner and started pulling Sehesh. The camera fell to the ground, and in the last scene, Sehesh is pulled into the darkness. The corridor was long and dark. Shadows were dancing on the walls, and the sounds of whispers echoed everywhere. There were broken windows in the room, a mixed scene of rain and dust, and Sehesh's eyes fell on a fallen chair. There were handprints in the dust on the floor, leading Sehesh towards the corner. The whispers suddenly began to sound closer. Saharesh turned and looked, but the shadow immediately disappeared. Saharesh walked towards the big stairs. The wood creaked with every step, and something was waiting on the top floor. As soon as she stepped into the dark hall, the shadows on the walls started dancing, and thin lines of dust were reflecting in the light. The room was littered with broken furniture and pieces of glass. Saharesh threw the light and looked everywhere. An old torn portrait appeared on the wall. The face was blurred, but the eyes seemed to be awake. As soon as she stepped into the narrow corridor, a gust of cold air came. Saharesh held the flashlight and camera tightly in her hands. Saharesh reached the roof door, and her heart started pounding when she heard the whispers coming from inside. The roof door opened. Dust and spider webs were everywhere. Sehrish held the flashlight and camera tightly in his hands. The roof was strewn with old boxes and broken furniture. Shadows were moving strangely. The rocking chair was rocking on its own. Saharesh's gaze settled on it, and her heart started pounding. A shadow of a woman dressed in a faded white dress appeared in the mirror. Saharesh stopped, and her heart was pounding. Saharesh looked out the window. The sight of rain and lightning, and the empty courtyard of the house. Her heart was pounding, but she was ready. Saharesh moved further inside the roof. Dust streaks were reflected in the light, and pieces of furniture were cast in shadows. False footprints appeared in the corner of the roof. Saharesh bent down and began to look at them. The shadowy figure suddenly appeared behind and immediately disappeared. Saharesh stopped and her heart was pounding. At first glance, the mirror reflected only Saharesh. But behind it, the shadow of a woman dressed in a faded white dress also appeared. Saharesh reached the roof window. The empty courtyard of the house was visible between the rain and lightning. She was ready, but her heart was pounding. Stepped into the corner of the roof. Old toys and broken furniture. The shadows were moving automatically. A small, dirty child sat crying in the corner. Saharesh carefully extended her hand. The light was falling on her. As soon as she extended her hand, the child dissolved into thin air. Saharesh stopped. Her heart was pounding. As soon as she extended her hand, the child dissolved into thin air. Saharesh stopped. Her heart was pounding. Reached the ground. The main door disappeared, only the wall. The scene of rain and lightning outside. Her heart was pounding. Whispers in dozens of languages began to echo from the walls. Saharesh held the flashlight tightly. Her heart was pounding. Pull out the mobile, no signal. The house had cut her off from the outside world. Suddenly a black hand came out from the corner. Saharesh had a flashlight and a camera in her hands. Her heart was beating. Saharesh was being pulled towards the darkness. The flashlight fell to the ground. The shadows looked scary. The next day people only see Saharesh's camera outside. The last recording has a clear voice. This house has never been empty, and it will never be now. The flashlight kept blinking on the ground. Shadows were crawling on the walls. The camera was still recording. The house was completely empty from the inside. Rain was coming in through the broken windows. Saharesh could only feel the presence of the camera. In the morning, people gathered outside the house. Only the camera was lying on the ground. The flash of lightning made the empty courtyard even more scary. The camera screen showed Saharesh's frightened face. Whispers echoed, "This house has never been empty, and it never will be now." Finally, the full view of the house, rain and silence. The camera lay in the courtyard, and Saharesh's presence lingered in the shadows. In the rain, the camera lay in the yard. Light shadows were moving near the walls, as if someone was still there. People were carefully watching the yard. Only the camera was visible. The flash of lightning made the scene scary. The blurry shadows inside the house were visible on the camera screen. The whispers of the night could be felt. Raindrops on the camera lens. The empty house and the light shadows reflected. The atmosphere was scary. The morning scene. The rain had stopped. But the house looked scary. The camera lay in the yard. The presence of dawn was still felt. The blurry scene of the morning. The camera lay in the yard. Light shadows near the windows, as if spirits were still present. In the rain-soaked grass, the camera. The blurry reflection of the house in the lens. The scene looked scary. The flash of lightning. The empty courtyard and the shadows of the house were creeping strangely. The camera itself was telling of the presence of the dawn. The reflection of the dawn in the water near the camera. Blurred and transparent. The house behind it was eerie and silent. Finally, the panoramic view of the house. The rain had stopped, but the eerie atmosphere remained. In the courtyard, the mysterious absence of the dawn reminded me. The camera lay near the steps of the house. The morning mist was thick. The light shadows of the walls, as if the spirits were still there. Close-up view of the courtyard. The hazy reflection of the house in the small puddles of water. The camera was close, recording softly. Distant flash of lightning. Long and twisting shadows in the courtyard. The atmosphere was tense and the hazy presence of the dawn near the camera. The reflection in the water and transparent surfaces. The house behind was eerie and finally, the wide view of the house. In the morning light, the shadows and fog maintained an eerie impression. The camera in the courtyard, reminiscent of the absence of the dawn. The camera was on the porch of the house. The morning fog was thick. The shadows were moving lightly near the walls, as if spirits were still present. The hazy reflection of the house in the puddle of water in the courtyard. The camera was close, revealing an eerie atmosphere. A distant flash of lightning illuminated the courtyard and windows. Shadows twisted and crept strangely. The hazy presence of the dawn near the camera. Reflections in the water and transparent surfaces. The house behind, silent and eerie. Finally, the wide view of the house. In the morning light, shadows and fog maintained an eerie impression. In the courtyard, the mysterious absence of the dawn is reminiscent. Camera was in the courtyard. The morning fog was melting. Shadows were moving lightly near the walls. The blurry reflection of the courtyard and the house in the camera lens. Raindrops were making the scene scary. The flash of lightning showed the shadows of the house and the courtyard strange and twisting. The blurry reflection of dawn in the water near the camera. The house behind it was silent and scary. The camera was near the gate of the house. The faint light of the morning. Light shadows were visible from the windows, as if someone was watching. The camera was near the gate of the house. The faint light of the morning. Light shadows were visible from the windows, as if someone was watching. In the camera, water drops were giving a frightening reflection of the house and the shadows. The distant flash of lightning illuminated the strange shadows of the house and the courtyard. The scene seemed scary and unusual. The dim presence of dawn near the camera, the reflection in the water, the house behind silent and eerie. The last wide view of the house, in the morning light, the shadows and fog maintained an eerie impression. In the courtyard, the absence of dawn is reminiscent of the camera. If this story sent chills down your spine, remember, the darkness never ends here. For more terrifying tales, subscribe to our channel and become a part of the shadows.